want to start looking to buy this right now. GU is the same thing. I think we're going to see some pullbacks now on the dollar pairs. All week, it's been perfect trading, really. So you can see it's just been a smooth run to the downside. And now we might see some relief, see this pullback to the upside a little bit to, again, let some sellers in. And then we'll see how it goes from there. So I'm done for the week now. I'm not trading anymore, really. I'm not looking to place anything new until next week. So guys, that leads me to the end. Chris is coming up, so don't leave. Have a great day. I'm not on tomorrow, so I'll see you next week. Thank you all for joining. Have a good day.
What's happening, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome back. Updates for the Pulver alerts this morning. Closed out a winner on IBM. We had a nice gap down from our trade, the 230 put by 227.50 put. Paid $1.15. Closed it out today for 245, 246. So that's collecting about 95% of the max profit or so. So I'll take that versus waiting to see what happens tomorrow, especially if I possibly am traveling late tomorrow morning or late, well, I guess whatever. Could be traveling tomorrow before closing bell. And if for whatever reason, this price wanted to come back up and possibly gap fill, I don't want that to be threatened. So I'm taking the profit on IBM. That's been updated in the Pulver alert section for the Discord. Got filled for 246, or I'm sorry, IBM got filled for 2.46 for profit. And then UPS was the other one. This was a 50-50. Look at that freaking gap, though. Oh, baby. This is another reason I wanted to protect profit. Now, it's still plenty above where we needed it to be, right? We were up around 131. We took the 131 by 132. It's still trading at 137, but that is the stuff that happens, in and around earnings where, we're way the heck up here at 144, well beyond the expected move, and this thing is ripping back. So, yes, I closed out here for profit. Max profit would have been $1. I closed it out for 95 and 96 cents. Okay. So taking 90+% of the profit, 95% of the profit, I'm out. UPS is down to the profit. IBM's down to the profit. Tesla is up to 248. Big old rip on the market today, gapping higher in the S&P. This credit spread is looking great. I'm actually kind of bummed that we didn't get a push lower, but this is obviously much better for the bulls. Tesla gifted the bulls a major. Yeah, I agree. I think if Tesla was a miss today, the markets would have been probably selling off a little bit more. But Tesla kind of saved the market a little bit today. We're not quite at all-time highs, not even close, but we got a couple gap fills to play around with today. So my thoughts on Tesla, how many of you are in the Tesla credit spread with me? Okay, so right now the trade is profitable. This is up to you. There's a couple ways to tackle this trade, so I'll show you. Here's what I'm considering. I know that the premiums are so good on Tesla that I wouldn't mind keeping the shares. So if something happens where we smash all the way back down to 225 or 220 and I get assigned, I will repair the trade and just take covered calls and try to get $5 or $10 a premium for a 1 or 2 week covered call. And I'll make more money doing that than just keeping the full credit spread, right? But if you don't want to hold the shares, if you don't have the buying power, of course, to hold the shares, then the easy thing to do, let me go into Tesla. Okay, so Tesla here, if we have the 225 by 220 and I close this trade out, right now it's traded for less than $1. So if you want to take $1 out of the trade, our max profit's 269. So $1 out of a max profit of 269, you can grab around 37% of the profit right now. Is that right? I feel like you're grabbing, yeah. Is that about right? No, because that'd be $1. It'd be $1.69 out of a max 260. Yeah, this is, let me do the math. I'm silly here. So $1.69 would be your profit divided by the 269 would be your max profit. So you're grabbing 63% of the profit now. So if you want it, you can take 62.8% of the profit today, close it out for $1 debit, and you walk away with $1.69 net profit per contract. That way you don't have to worry about any type of crazy volatility. That way price is up here at 248. Is it going to, get back to these highs again and then fall? Maybe. Is it going to, pull back immediately and fill the gap? Maybe. I don't know. So it's your choice. I'll do this. I'm going to keep. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep the trade as is with the credit spread because number one, If it stays here for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then it's full profit, and I'm okay with that. Also, if price goes back down to the same like credit spread area or goes lower for whatever reason, I'm willing to own the shares and then repair this for more profit. It's a lot more work and it's going to tie up some buying power, but I'm more willing to own the shares. Okay, so let me do a quick update here on Tesla. I know I put it in my, it's probably up the chain a little bit in my thread. TSM, UPS, Google, Netflix, TSM, Snapchat, Netflix, Tesla. There it is. All right, let me reply to this one. So reply, Tesla update. Post Tesla earnings. Price is at 248.90. Well above the 225 by 220 levels. Current debit is $1. If you want to protect profit, you can close for $1 debit and keep the $1.69 net profit per contract. I am going to hang on to the shares, or hang on to the spread towards full expiration because I'm still willing to own and repair for more net profit. All right, so that's my update coming at you in 10 seconds. There. So your call. If you want to take the profit, you're taking 63% of the profit off the table, not worried about it. The expiration out, 2-3 weeks, nothing to worry about. You just take the profit today. If we have a gap fill, my trade's going to be probably showing a small loss, but I'm willing to hang on to it. If I get assigned, I get assigned. Every account that I have could take some Tesla and be totally fine. So I don't mind doing that. Right? But the profit's not a bad play. Anything else? Let's go to the SPX. So we have a couple of gaps to contend with today. Prices pretty quiet after a gap higher. Still really quiet movement in the morning. Grabbed a quick trade out of the SPX this morning. That was a nice little win. We have yesterday's gap up here, and we have the overnight gap right here, which is still not filled. I don't know what price is going to do, but obviously it can play around between both of these gaps. I actually, if I was to kind of guess what price can do, I'd almost like to see this gap from yesterday because Tesla's earnings are solid. Is that enough to lift the markets? Maybe. We do have some more earnings today. So if we come back in and we try to fill the gap from last night's close or yesterday's close, can we go back in, tap this gap, and then head back up into that gap today? If the market continues to go higher with this recovery and this bounce up, maybe we actually play around with both levels today. But until then, we'll see what happens. I mean, this was a nice little grab this morning on SPX, and gaps are available. I just don't know what we're going to get. The SPY level yesterday, did anybody take that trade with me yesterday? We talked about it live in session. We got in for a 575 long put. That was a beautiful trade all the way down to 575 on the SPY, and it was trading up to $2.75 credit with a debit that cost about 75 cents. You don't get that very often, but man, that was a fantastic trade. So I closed mine out at $1.41 and then watched it, trailing towards like 225 and 250. Saw this trading around 275 to 280 near the lows. But pretty good trade yesterday. Nice directional play. Thoughts on eBay? I'll take a look at eBay. I also did a couple of rolls. Does anybody, I don't think we're in this trade together, but I did take this trade live in session. I think it was when Frank was on with me. I took a trade on OXY. So I might have this listed in here. I just talked about I'm buying the shares. Let me see if I can find it. UPS, Walgreens is done for profit. Netflix is good. TSM we're good. Snap, Netflix, diversified ETF play did that there. Tesla, JD repairing that one. DPZ, that's profit. NVIDIA, that trade is out to, oh yeah, that was a hedge that I closed out for a loss. Okay. Coinbase out there, JD out there, WBA income play, that's done. RL pending, BA pending. Let's see. Where the heck did I put my OXY? Maybe I just put it on the chart. Well, I can talk through the trade right now. It's still valid. I'll tell you what I'm doing here. It's just an income play. The premiums aren't as high as I'd like them to be. So maybe allow me to take the risk and you don't have to, but let me at least walk you through it. And then I'll take a look at eBay. So here's what I'm doing on OXY. I bought shares around 50. Let me see the trade price here. So OXY has earnings on the 12th. And if I go into my positions, I have 500 shares. I have a $53 call because I rolled the one today. So I had a $54 call that was trading down for like 3 cents debit. Rather than waiting all the day today, all day tomorrow to collect 3 cents, I just rolled it out and I got 74 cents credit, which netted like 72 cents credit on a new covered call. So I went out 2 weeks, lowered my strike price by $1. So now my break even is $51.99. Okay, so my break even is $51.99. The current price of the stock is $51.44. If it gets called away at $53, I make $1.01 on 500 shares. I'll make $5.05 hopefully by the 15th, or I'm sorry, by the 8th. And then on the put side, I do have, a $40 put just in case price falls lower. I want to have something to protect the downside if we have a big smash to the downside. So I just went ahead and rolled all of my October 25 calls, which was clearly not going to get taken away. I mean, price is likely not going up to $54 this week on OXY. So are we going up to 54? Unlikely. Therefore, I've lowered it down and my break even is now 51.99, trying to get it called away at 53. I can make $1.01 per share. So let's see. I've got the 11/8 expiration, $53 covered call. I've got a $51.99 break even. I'm just going to add that in. Okay, so like I said, I think this is probably better that I take the risk. If we're interested in buying this as a group, or if I want to put this in as a trade alert officially, I would rather see it come down to like $40 and change, and then we start doing some bull call spreads or some credit spreads down here. That's a much better position to be long, in my opinion. Okay. All right, we good? Everybody can see my chart here, right? OXY. I'm watching it on my end. Okay, let's go to eBay. eBay. I don't know. I mean, eBay looks a lot like Carvana. It's had a great recovery. In my opinion, if you're following eBay, that double bottom would have been the best spot to buy it. We had a nice little support level, breaking out here. This has been running hot with momentum. So what would I do on eBay now? Probably nothing. I would be looking for, maybe this 100 or this is a 50 to 100 pullback, and maybe look at buying some dips. Something like that. Let me take a look at the fundamentals on eBay and make sure it's not overvalued. The nice thing is we are pushing pretty high. We've got some all-time highs up here, $81. Getting some dips and pullbacks, not too shabby. Bought last November about $40. That's a great price. Yep. Let me take a look at fundamentals. So simply, let's go eBay. Trading below estimated value, earnings forecast to grow, earnings forecast to decline for the next 3 years. That's not great. High level of debt. Okay. JD.com competitor. I mean, it's wow. Price to sales price of earnings actually is pretty cheap. Current price versus fair value. I mean, it's got some good upside potential. I don't mind it. What would I do with eBay? Honestly, when do we have earnings? Next week. Coming into earnings, I'll say this. We've already been on a pretty big rip from this low to high. I mean, eBay is up, was up 80%, has pulled back a little bit. I would love to see, similar to what we saw GE Aerospace do or McDonald's. I mean, if we have like anything that pushes it lower, I'd start looking at position for it. So this isn't a bad spot to be in, right? A little, pullback on some moving averages. The trend is strong. So, dynamic support. I'm looking for that to be a trend follower. That would be my plan. We've got earnings coming next week, so something to be mindful of. If you want, remind me next week on eBay, because we might look at an earnings play, and I might put something where maybe we get filled at a price I want to get filled at. So anything like sub 60. If we get sub 60, maybe doing a bull call spread or even a credit spread, and then be willing to take some shares and repair. Okay, but otherwise, this is looking pretty decent. I would just want to buy it cheaper. That's all. Especially on ownership. I mean, if I'm going to do even a bull put spread now, if I did like a 65 or 64 by 63 and it goes lower, I'd want to take the shares lower and then try to repair them. Now, I don't know what the premiums are like, but let's find out. eBay right now is trading at a 37.4 IV rank. We do have weekly options. That's good. We have earnings on the 12th. If I went out to the 15th, okay, that's weird. We have like $1 strikes, and then we have 50-cent strikes, and then that's a weird way to space out your strikes. If I do a bull put spread, so 51 by 50, I get 40 cents on the dollar. Go up a strike, I get 50 cents on the dollar. That's pretty much that's not at the money. That's like perfectly priced. So 50 cents, where would I want to own it? Oh, I'm on the wrong stock. Never mind. eBay. Come on, charts. All right, let's go out to the 15th. So earnings next week. If I went out to the 15th to the monthly, 64 by 63, 47 cents on the dollar for an at the money. That's not bad. 65 by 64, 53 cents on the dollar. That's a little bit better, but now you need price to go higher. Any dips? I mean, I said anything sub 60. So if we do drop, I wouldn't mind repairing, but let me see what this does. If I go out, let's say I own the shares. If I own the shares and I take the long put and I close it, keep the ownership, and I go out like 2 weeks. 2 weeks for an at the money, I can lower the cost basis by about $2 to $2.50. I mean, it could be an easy income play. It's just not like big, awesome premium. So I could probably take, if I did one contract, take 100 shares. I mean, I could probably make $200 or $300 on the trade pretty safely. If it goes up, cool. If it goes down, take the ownership and flip it. I'd want to be trying to own this thing in the 50s and then see if there's like a gap to fill, use the long put. So let me see. Do I like to right now? I mean, no, but if I put in a credit spread and it goes against me, I can take ownership. So even if it's an earnings push against me, I can take ownership. If it's an earnings pop to the upside, then, I'm in, and that's just a full credit. So choice is, do I want to do that? I don't mind. We've had solid earnings, right? I mean, earnings have been looking pretty solid. I mean, beating on top and bottom, but the stock obviously has still dropped, bottomed out, and then it's rallying. Is there a dividend here? 1.7% dividend. Beta, it's non-correlated. People buying at the auction house. All right, let me put a pin into eBay. I don't mind this trade because I think I could repair it, but do I want to tie up $3,000 to $6,000 for a couple $100? I don't know. Not really. So I want to come back to this one next week around earnings. How's that? I think that's fair. All right. Oil, sure. Oil trading at 70.60. I still don't like calling the floor. I think this is it's very possible that we still bounce. Okay. Do we bounce here? Maybe. The only downside with oil, and this is where I think there's a lot of forces behind oil right now. And this, to the downside, if we break this floor, this is lower inflation. Okay. If we see oil break this floor, that's lower inflation. That's probably what the US wants to see. And we've seen the news earlier, like, global demand is down. Saudi Arabia is wanting to increase production, drive market share up for them, drive prices lower per barrel. And I mean, I've said this, like the US and Saudi Arabia are two countries in the world that can pretty much exist in like a maybe sub $40 per barrel and still making profit. It's kind of crazy. So does it mean it's good for other countries? No. Is it good for OPEC? No, but doesn't matter. If this is what's going to happen, then inflation to be tamed, especially when it comes to all inflation, not just core, which is excluding food and energy, lower oil prices or flat $70 oil prices. I don't know. Is it just me, or is like oil a little iffy? I could see oil breaking this floor and dropping, $10 quickly. Or we could see a squeeze to the upside, and this is higher inflation. So something tells me that there are more pressures and more forces trying to push oil lower to keep inflation under control. Just my thoughts. So I'm not calling this floor. I'm also not short. If I'm going to get short oil, it's going to be way the heck up here. If I want to short oil, I'm taking defined risk trades around $90. This is going lower highs, lower lows, or lower highs and equal lows. And that's why I also think that this gets coiled and it looks like it can go either way. But if we build from this top to this bottom, either it's a range trade or it is a floor that's about to break. And that's my concern, because over here, there's not a lot to stop it. If this floor breaks around $65, there's not much stopping this thing until like $55 or even $45. And if you measure this move, you're looking at about a move of, $20 or so, right? From 65 to 85, 65 to 90, that's a $25 to $30 breakout. So if we break the floor at 65, you're looking at, $45 to $40. So I don't want to mess with it. I think this is good for inflation to go lower. Even with a Middle East conflict going on right now, oil prices aren't jumping a lot. So I'm saying I'm watching. Crude oil, same thing. Or I'm sorry, not crude oil is my futures trade. I'm just hanging in there. I took some profit already earlier. I don't want to have any exposure on oil right now. Natty gas is up a little bit. I'd like to see this come back and retest some lows if possible. This is probably a trade I'm looking at for Q1 next year. If we're down in this area, I'm looking at a Q1 entry to a summertime, probably May. I'll go out to like May or August next summer and see if I can get oil or to natural gas to go higher. But I want to see if it comes back into these really attractive levels and then take some contracts out to May, June, July, August. Gold is off of a one-day sell-off, still hasn't pulled back to levels that I want to see on the daily. So I'm still waiting. There's the 21, there's the 50. Does this have to require the dollar to capitulate? Possibly. Let's go to the dollar for a second. Okay. A little bit of hesitation today on the dollar, but if this still, after, so many green candles, we've had literally 1, 2, 3 red candles out of a streak of what? That's a lot of green from this bottom. So in 18 bars, you've had 3 basically pause candles, and you've had 15 bullish candles to surge this thing higher. So anyway, I'm still looking for the dollar to see if and when it's going to turn. It could start turning on smaller time frames. This would be a better spot technically with this resistance up here. So I like that, kind of 105, 105.50 area, but look for confirmation on a 1-hour chart. If it starts to turn faster, let's say that it turns faster. We break this structure. I look for some type of pullback or some type of equal high, and then see if the dollar is actually going to start going lower. It might chop around for a little bit. We might have a range up here, but still watching the dollar. Okay. Back to gold. If the dollar still goes higher, I can see gold falling just a tiny bit lower. I'd still like to see it pull back into the 21 or 50. If those levels are hit, I'm probably adding some exposure on GC and GLD. Actually, speaking of that, I want to put those in here as proxies. So let me add that, and let me add that. So GLD, drag this up in my watch list. There we go. Okay. So now I've got gold, gold futures, and GLD, silver also pulling back, silver futures pulling back, and SLV, which I own shares of, also pulling back. But look at the charts. We've got a pretty good trend here. Dynamic support around all these moving averages. So I'd like to continue to see that trend stay in play with silver. Same thing on silver futures. I did put in this trade 32.50 by 32.75. That's a bull call spread for a 10-cent debit. The risk is $500. The profit's $750. I'm going out to end of January. So I'm looking to see if this gets filled, which is going to be a kind of an efficiency trade. If that gets filled by the end of the year, silver's higher, great. Then there's a $750 profit. So adding some exposure, hasn't been filled yet to my knowledge. Let me double check. Let's go /SI. Pending at 0.13. What? Oh, you know what? I need to put that trade back in. I think I accidentally did this good for day. Let me try this trade one more time. So 32.50. Oh yeah, it was a bull call spread. That's right. Let me try this again. So SI out to January, 32.50. So I'd buy that, sell that. 13.9. I'm going to try to take this down to 10 cents. And that should switch the mechanics up where I get it's a $500 debit, but my max profit is $750. So if price falls a little bit, I'm trying to get filled at 10 cents here. So that would be a $500 risk, $750 reward. Only takes about $300 in buying power. I'm going to put this trade in good till canceled. Now I can take the trade. All right. So I will put this one in and add this to my futures tab or channel in my Pulver alerts. Okay, so make sure this is buying the call, selling the call. Yes, yes, yes. Risk looks good. Pending. There it is. Okay, now we can put this order out there. I get filled on these. That's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, what's up with this broker? 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I duplicating this trade? 10.18. Yeah, so I already put this trade on. What the heck? So that's working. Hang on a second. I feel like I do have this trade on. All right, I don't want to duplicate this. So it's already in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can cancel that one. Cancel that one. Cancel that one. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so the trade's already in. What the heck? That was weird. And then futures, let me make sure I have this in. MES, SI, got it. It's already in the section. I thought it was good. I just didn't put good till canceled. Anyway, we're good. Silly me. That's the trade. Still looking at it. All right, what else we have? Let's go Bitcoin. Bitcoin still testing this resistance area. Most likely Bitcoin is going to be a post-election deal. Post-election is Bitcoin making all-time highs. This would be the pleasant little Q4 surprise, in my opinion, right? If we've got a breakout here going to all-time highs and higher, that would be nice to see. Any exposure in Bitcoin at these levels. any exposure accumulation of Bitcoin through the last, 4 to 5 months, if that's your Q4 surprise, that'd be an awesome way to end the year. Get through the election. I mean, it seems like right now Trump is probably getting the slight edge for the polls from what I can see. I mean, I know he came out a little bit more pandering to the Bitcoin or the crypto audience, and then Harris did the same thing, but whatever. People believe what they want. So I just think we're hitting this resistance level, and it looks good, but it's not going anywhere, and we just might hang out here for what, another couple weeks? Does anybody think we're going to get crazy breakouts prior to the election? Show of hands. I don't. Okay. I don't think this market's going really anywhere before the election. And I know we have earnings next week on Mag 7. There's a lot of market cap to get thrown around, but it wouldn't surprise me if things are relatively tight and contained, or what does break out immediately pulls back. So don't be surprised if we have some earnings plays where prices here, earnings is great and it gaps up and then it fills and it gets right back to neutral, right in the election. Or if it gaps lower and then we get some gap fills through the election, I'd rather play that. I'd rather see if we have some chances to buy some flip and dips, man. And get some of my, my moving averages, the 21, the 50, the 100, like just find some levels to see some dynamic support, so I can look at a potential Q4 rally, as opposed to just buying highs and buying highs and buying highs. So like I said, if Bitcoin keeps hammering this high, I would say right now that's kind of the intermediate structure. This low is my next level. But yeah, if we just hang out here and just keep peppering this high, if we get a breakout to all-time highs and a flag or something, this could be off and running, and everyone's going to be chomping at the bit for this 100K milestone. That could be a nice little addition to a Q4 rally to further cement, just a heck of a gain overall in a portfolio that's traded stocks this year, traded some commodities, traded some Bitcoin. Yeah, pretty good. So I just crunched the numbers. I'm up 24.05% for the year, and Bitcoin hasn't even been a part of that. So I'm hoping that Bitcoin will cooperate, and I'm looking at another maybe 5 to 8% with the portfolio gaining on Bitcoin, which should be a nice little way to, if I can take myself over 30% this year, that's pretty good. All right. I do see I keep getting some Twitter alerts on SoFi. SoFi's up to 11.16. I've got some decent profit rolling in. I've got a profit target set on SoFi right here. So have some shares, got some profits rolling in. I've got to take profit at 19 bucks. I don't have it covered right now. Do I want to cover it? Depends on the premiums. Let me see. Take a quick look at SoFi. We're trading 11.16. I don't want to do an in the money. If I do put on a covered call on SoFi, it's probably going to be an in the money. If I went out through, we have earnings on the 29th. It'd be nice to see earnings do something positive, push this thing higher. The big resistance is right here. I've already measured this move, this kind of equal low area swing to the upside at 11 and change. If this is going to be a measured move, I looked at this as an aggressive move. This could be a cup and handle. So if it breaks this neckline, that measured move gets me up to like $18, $19. Now, obviously, it's been up a lot over the last couple of months, and there's clearly some resistance there. So if we hit this level and we reject, well, then I'm just still sitting and holding some SoFi. But if we breach $12, let's say we have something that gets us up into this area, for the first time in years, we are getting back to the initial price. Okay, so if we're up above $12, then I think this has more room and more momentum to buy the dip and see that type of return. So I'm hopeful, but what I'll likely do to get it called away is I'll do something deep in the money. And that way I'll see if I can collect a little bit of premium. Okay. All right. What else? Crude we did. So where's it at? Oil's right here. So oil, I just don't want to guess the bottom is here. If this is the floor, I could see this floor breaking, and mostly due to the let's say the war on inflation. Okay, that sounds very political, but that's like the trigger word, the war on inflation. If we break the floor at $65 and oil heads lower, it can probably drop $10 to $20. And so I don't want to take a trade outside of defined risk that's going to be, calling that bottom. So what I'd rather see oil be doing is if we come in here and we keep testing, we haven't broken any highs yet. It keeps getting coiled and coiled and coiled and coiled. I don't know what oil is going to do. If it breaks the floor, there's a lot more room there. If it squeezes to the upside, I mean, that trade to me makes sense. Like this bullish push makes sense. The problem is this increases inflation, and I think so many forces right now are trying to drive it lower. That why not? Why not just overproduce? Why not supply, just tons and tons of oil to the markets? And Saudi Arabia is not backing off. U.S. isn't backing off. So I think that I don't know. The floor is probably vulnerable in my opinion. So I don't have any oil positions right now. I'm not exposed to it. I closed out my CL profits earlier, but that's what I'm watching. We did Bitcoin. Let's talk some other stocks here. Are you freaking kidding me, MicroStrategy? Jeez. So this isn't even earnings yet. MicroStrategy earnings is next week, and this thing's at all-time highs. Again. Well, it is what it is. I've got trades. I mean, I've got a bunch of ratio spreads and 1-1-1s and income plays, but I don't have any partial shares of MicroStrategy, but I'll be watching. Ethereum still hasn't bounced back. Not yet. Copper still waiting. Japanese yen, flip a coin. Have your dog pick what you want to do on Japanese yen. Let's see here. German DAX is down just a little bit. FTSE's still sideways. HSI, let me go to China stocks here. We'll go Mag 7 before I wrap up. HSI down about 1.3%. BABA is down 2.38%. Baidu down 1. Oh my God. Baidu, you freaking turd. How is this? Ugh. Up and down. This is not what I wanted to see. Son of a bee. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, this piece of crap stock might be trying to come back and retest this low. At the same time, it's my covered calls are probably looking pretty good. But let me see. Let me see what my China stocks are looking for. So I rolled a couple things on Baidu. Let me see what I have here. So Baidu. So I have a cover at 115, 130, 125. Let me check and see where these are at. I mean, percent profit wise. I don't know. It's I'm not really able to cover and roll or get rid of it. It was like I took $1 on the covered call and I can close it now for 5 cents and issue another one. I just think I'm gonna have to kind of sit on my hands and wait. And this is what happened earlier. This is the same thing China did before. Up, breaking all the structure. Thought there's a nice little falling wedge, and then retest fresh lows. Up, slow lows. Up. This was a big, ridiculous surge, but we're not there yet. So who knows? And I look at this high. Maybe this is some type of deeper, head and shoulders or a reversal pattern, which is fine. But frustrating to not see that immediate follow through that the market was willing to give it. I mean, my gosh, you saw like these 40% rips, and it's like, yeah, we'll pull back like 70% of the way. So China stuff is still a big old question mark. Nobody knows. Is there more stimulus coming? Is the market going to be more excited about it? Maybe. I also think this is something where the election and positive flows and animal spirits and all this stuff is going to play into it for the bigger global economy picture over the next 3 to 6 months. So we'll see. I'm trying to be patient here, but yeah, we'll find out. And then JD, I'm just going to keep aggressively repairing. I'm out, I think, until the 8th on my positions for JD. Check here. So JD is, I've got some shares covered at 42. Right now, the trade price was 85, and it is trading for 36 cents. This is out to next Friday. I'm just going to let this decay over the weekend and then just continue to repair it. My break even should be in the low 40s, I think. Break even is, let me go down here. Overall break even on shares, that was before 26. Nope, that was before. There we go. 40.82 is my break even. 40.82. We're trading at 38.93. So as long as it doesn't just fall off a cliff, I'll just keep repairing aggressively. Let me take a look at the covered calls for right now. If I go out a couple of weeks, a $41 is giving me $1. I mean, that's okay. If I lower it by $1, fine. If price stabilizes, going out 15 to 30 days, I'll probably get a couple bucks. So I'll let it do its thing, but I'll assess that one next week. All right. Any other stocks? NVIDIA, I see the question for NVIDIA. NVIDIA 139, similar to a lot of the other positions I'm looking for. I'm not trying to call the top. I'm not trying to buy into tops. I'm just waiting to see if it offers up something good. Through NVIDIA's earnings, we don't know until after the election, right? This is November 20th. So if we have some election volatility, is it possible that we come back into the 21 or the 50? Maybe. Okay. I mean, look at this. Look at the technicals here. If we have resistance, 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 and we pull back into this area, that's a pretty good spot to be looking to get long and see if we were going to break and go higher. So we'll find out. Ideally, I'd still like to see this 200 EMA get hit. It's already at 440 bars, which is a high bar count, not impossible, but it would be difficult for me to think we're going this high without having price get some type of reversion back to find it. So if we go higher, I'll measure the move, and most likely it's, I don't know. I think we're gonna find this 200 EMA first, but actually not first. That'd be silly to say that. But if we find some support in here and the broader market is going higher for the end of the year, I'm sure NVIDIA will do just fine. Unless there's some hard rotation out of Mag 7 into everything else, which I doubt. I mean, Mag 7 earnings are next week, so we'll see what it's made of, right? All right. Any other charts, any other questions for me? Any other currency pairs? I did some currency talk yesterday. Swiss pairs. Let me actually check the currency strength chart before going to currencies and see what's going on. Currency strength. So what a difference a day makes. Classic Japanese yen, the weakest of the weak and the strongest of the strong. Now, volatility is not crazy today. It's 45 and 30, so only about a 70-point swing on some of these. But you're watching the Aussie drop pretty hard today. You're watching the Japanese yen stay strong and get stronger. You're watching the pound fade a little bit, but still pretty strong in the day. Actually, you know what? I do like this euro pound trade. If anyone wants to, jump on the crazy train with me, this trade might be a little gutsy. We're about the same level we talked about yesterday. I'm going to take a trade here at market and then put in a pending order at 82.50. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to buy at 8.332 and then buy at 8.250 and then stop at 8.150. And my profit target's going to be, let's see if we can get back to like 85. Okay, so basically I'm looking left on the chart. We have all this structure around 82.85, down here to 8,200. So I'm going to take that trade on the euro pound, see if this is a strong level of support that goes back into 2020, back into 2016 with Brexit noise. If it breaks the floor, then sure, we've got some efficiencies to fill back at 8,000, but I'm going to get out of the trade before that. If it holds here like it has since 2016, again in 2020, again in 2022, and we're back down here in 2024, just looking to see if that support can hold. If it does, hopefully it's a pretty straightforward trade. We bottom out in here and then rip back up towards past support, become resistance around 85. So let me issue the trade there. Price target around 85. And stop loss around 81.50. There. So it looks like it's a 1-to-1, but if you take 2 levels to the trade, you're going to increase that probability on the second one, or the reward to risk, right? If I buy to 82.50, we're looking at a 100 pip stop, but we're going after 250 pips. So the total trade would be this. If I'm right, I can win, let's go 8,332 minus 8,150. So we've got 182 risk plus 100, right? Yeah, so I'm risking 282. Okay, so 282 is my total risk. And then I have 250 plus 170. So I'm risking just over 200 pips to make 420 pips. It's fair. Not quite 2-to-1, but pretty close if we get filled on both. All right. So I'm going to throw that into my Forex trade. Anybody watching the dollar CAD still? Dollar CAD at 38.50. Keep an eye on this one. I have two reasons, right? One is resistance. Okay. But I'm telling you two things, right? US is definitely in a stronger position economically than Canada. Other thing, if the floor breaks on oil, CAD's getting weaker. So I would not be surprised. Either this thing turns aggressive to give us a sell trade, or this thing is going to break out and it's not going to stop. And this is a 2-year range that's going to 145. I talked about this yesterday, but I wouldn't mind stacking up those orders where I just take a trade at 140 and then 140.50 and 141 and just let it go to 144, 145. And just once we get filled on these trades, once we get filled, then we're at a stop loss. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to test this 140 and see if we just have this thing breaking out and staying up there. So I know there's inefficiencies on this recent move, but it's more like if price can prove it, the highs up here aren't even at 4,000. So let's see what 4,000 gets us. So I'm going to do a buy trade here. So this is going to be a stop buy. I'll just put buy at 1.40. I'm going to put 4025 and then buy at 1.4075, buy at 1.4150 and buy at 41. I'll go 4,200. Profit at 1.4400 to 4,500 and stop, we'll say TBD, but I'm guessing around like 139 to 39.50. Okay. So I'm just going to start looking at small positions and stacking it up to see if we actually make this break to the upside. We're not there yet. Price has to prove it, but once it is, let me set a chart alarm at 1.4000 and see if we get there. And then our first trade will be filled at 40.25. Okay, Aussie CAD. I'll get those added into my the A1 Trading Discord for my Pulver Alert section. That'll be in the Forex trades. It's been a minute since I found a good Forex trade, and I like dollar CAD for just set it out there. I like the Euro Pound right now. Aussie CAD, I'm still looking long, and I'm holding my Aussie CAD long to 94.50 or so. And New Zealand CAD, I'm still long as well. I need to add the D there. New Zealand CAD. I don't know. We just have like good channeling here, right? Good structure. Watch the channel. New Zealand CAD just seems to be doing this. Eventually, I'm looking to see if it hits this high, right around 8,800. That's my profit target on New Zealand CAD. So Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD, I'm long on both. Okay, Swiss pairs. Currency strength chart today. Swiss is weaker, but Aussie's dropping, CAD's dropping. Yen is getting stronger. Did that just happen here in the last like 10 minutes? Pretty much. Last 20 minutes, yen jumped up a little bit further. Yeah. I don't like the yen. I don't know how many times I have to say it, but I'll keep saying it. So, all right. And then dollar process, let's go DXY for a moment, and then I'll wrap things up. So dollar index, still watching, hasn't officially turned. We've had 15 bullish candles to 3 basically pause candles. There's still room for the dollar to keep melting higher until we have the election, possibly a post-election trade into the remainder of the year. If we can see resistance, great. Let's see it. Let's confirm it. I'll watch this on a 1-hour chart. I wouldn't really want to force any trades on the dollar index or even a dollar crosses until I have confirmation on my 1-hour chart. So this is still bullish. It has been bullish. I mean, that was a pretty easy trade. But now that I'm looking to sell it, I'm just going to wait and watch the 200 EMA. And if it crosses, small trade, sell the top again, trade 1, trade 2, and then see if price will continue lower. Okay. All right. So I'll get the trades updated in the Forex section for my alerts. The Forex trades, I'm going to do Euro Pound and dollar CAD. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's it. And then we took profit on UPS, took profit on EM. If you want to take the profit on TSLA, you can for Tesla. That's good. You're up like 63% of the full profit right now. I'm going to let it run a little bit farther just because either one, I get full credit by expiration, or two, I've got the buying power to take on the shares, and then I can hopefully flip it because the premiums are so good. And then we've got a lot of earnings next week. So I'm assessing those earnings. I may take a couple stabs. Just be ready to get creative. I might do some credit spreads. I might do some bull call spreads. I might do some four leg trades. Mag 7 is next week. So the market is definitely wondering, based on market cap alone. I mean, we'll have like $5 or $6 trillion worth of stock movement just based on market cap. So it's a big week. It can control the indexes. If Mag 7 delivers, maybe we're sitting at all-time highs right before the election. If Mag 7 or just the market in general like sells off pre-election, like maybe earnings don't matter. But the nice thing is let's say Mag 7 offers a discount. I'd still buy dips. I mean, if we had let's just say Amazon, okay? If Amazon trading at 186, if Amazon during earnings next week gaps lower, I'm going to start looking at some scooping up, and I'll try to fill a gap later. So yeah, I mean, I like that a lot. I just don't know if we're going to get the trade. And if it's steady, then sure, we can just take some bull call spreads going to the end of the year, make it easy. And that might be the trade, honestly. I mean, if we have any type of dips, I might just go, you know what, for the end of the year, can we just stay above this? Take an earnings play. Is it good enough to get higher by the end of the year and take that play? We'll see what it prices out. So I'll price those out next week for the Pulver alerts. How's the NASDAQ? Probably the same as SPY, which is starting to move out of this opening range breakout. Here are the Qs, still in the opening range breakout. So very tight trading today on the QQQ. Very tight trading on the SPY, but it's trying to break out. We're looking at that gap fill from yesterday's close. So just, I don't know, watch this. If we fill the gap here, look to see if that actually offers a bounce. That wouldn't surprise me if it offers a bounce today. And then we'll see price either just stay here for the day, and then Friday, either a gap fill or a retest of the lows. I'm not sure. But we finally did have a nice directional push where it was about an $11 move on the week. And all that happened because of yesterday. So anyway, for a big directional day yesterday, today is pretty lackluster, which is perfect for some of my trades in the morning. All right. That being said, enjoy the rest of your day. See you tomorrow. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you for watching today's A1 Trading Show. Make sure to subscribe and to turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next one. We're looking for more guests to come on the show. If you're comfortable being on camera, have trading experience, and you're looking to grow your audience exposure, we'd love to have you on. You can fill out an application with the link in the description below. That's all for today. Trade safe, and we'll see you tomorrow.